Welcome to the Kingston Creative Meetup. Tonight, we're talking about what we're doing for 2022. So it's a town hall. It's just like before, where we listen to you, hear what you have to say. What are the programs that you'd like to see? What are the different things you'd like to be a part of? How you'd like to progress as a creative. Tonight, we're going to talk about many of the 2022 projects that Kingston Creative has and how you can be a part of them. We're going to be talking about NFTs. I'm sure you've been hearing that in the marketplace. A lot of people are talking about it, but what is it? And of course, we'll be hearing from you. So during those presentations, we encourage you to, take your notes, ask your questions so that we can get straight into tonight's evening. I'm going to invite Catherine to just talk to us a little bit, just to go through what we should expect for tonight. Catherine, welcome to the meetup.
Hi everyone. Good night. Well, good evening. It's not quite night just yet. All right, so tonight we're going to go through a couple of things. We have three main objectives. We want to let the creatives know what Kingston Creative will be rolling out for them come 2022. We have a whole barrage of programs, and they're specifically made for creatives to earn, to grow, to develop, capacity building, grant funding, you name it, it's going to happen in 2022. As well as we want to hear from them. Did the things that we present meet your needs? Are there any gaps that we need to fill? What are your concerns? What have been your challenges? How can we implement that in the coming year? And as well, as you mentioned, we are going to be talking NFTs. It's a huge trend that's been going throughout 2021, and it will become even bigger in 2022. And we want our creatives to be aware of that so they can hop onto it and they can monetize as quickly as possible. So that's some of the stuff that we're going to go through this evening. We want it to be very engaging, very interactive. So guys, feel free to share your thoughts. Don't feel afraid, like no question is a silly question. Ask us, tell us what's going on with you. This night is for you so that we can prepare ourselves to better serve you come 2022.
Amazing. So tonight is a town hall session. This would be the second town hall, am I correct?
Yes, this would be, yes.
Okay, so it's all about the creatives tonight, all the questions that they have. If there's anything that we'll talk about that they are not seeing, then of course this is the forum for it, right?
Exactly. Tell us what you need and we will implement.
Perfect. Will there be a poll launch tonight, or is it just questions in the chat? Or for those joining us on YouTube, questions from YouTube as well? How will that be handled this evening?
There will be a poll launch. So as we go through our presentation, as we kind of share with you the different areas that we will be engaging creatives in, we will launch a poll so you can better tell us, what suits your needs. Do you need funding? If so, how much funding do you need? Do you need training, or do you need a creative space, a space to sell your stuff, a space to perform? The poll will cover all of these areas, as well as it will tell us which of the programs that we have for next year best suits you, so we can kind of cater to those specific areas of people. We again want it to be engaging. So drop your questions in the chat. If you're over on YouTube, drop your questions there and we'll filter it in over here.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Catherine. So we are looking forward to all your questions tonight. And for those joining us, this is the meetup. It is the town hall edition. So we want to hear from you. So you can drop your questions in the chat if you're here with us on Zoom, or on YouTube. You can also fill your questions there. And as we go through the evening, we'll definitely answer them as well. So, right now, it's really a handover to you and your team, Catherine, to tell us about the Kingston Creative 2022 projects. So over to you.
All right, I will invite Jordan to just bring that presentation up on screen. I am here with my team members. It's myself, Catherine Johnson, Art District Manager. I did not introduce myself. We have Dimitri Dawkins, who is our Entrepreneur Development Specialist, and Khadija Chang, who is the project lead on the Catapult 2 project. So you'll be hearing from all three of us as we share about our projects for 2022. All right. So let's hear it. Our plans for you, the creatives. All right, so one of the main goals, Kingston Creative has two main aims, is to develop the people, the creatives, and the downtown community. and it's to develop the physical space. Tonight, we're here to talk about developing the people. And our main goal there is to enable Caribbean creatives to succeed. We want you guys to grow in your businesses. We want you guys to be able to access global markets. We want you to be able to perfect your craft. We want you to be able to engage new audiences. It's generally all about growth and development of the creatives in various capacities. All right, and the 2022 program rollout is Createch, which has about 15 or more, Dimitri can tell you more, programs under that. It's Catapult 2, which is grant funding, and it's Paint the City 3, which will focus on visual artists and muralists. I'm going to invite Dimitri to hop on and discuss a little bit more about Createch. Dimitri. All right, so it seems Dimitri isn't quite here just yet. So let's roll over to Catapult 2 and we will check back with him. All right,
Hi.
so now I invite Khadija to join in.
Hi everyone, good evening. I'm here to introduce Catapult, which is back for 2022 for our Caribbean and our regional creatives. So one of the primary goals of this program for year 2 is to provide relief to our artists that have been impacted financially by the social or event restrictions as a result of the ongoing pandemic. This year, we want to support 300 of these artists by providing or awarding grants equivalent to $500 US. So we understand that we're facing a period where the creative and cultural industry is vulnerable. So this would be our way of positively impacting those that are affected in the industry. Another main goal of the program this year is to list these artists in a standalone artist directory, which is being done in collaboration with Createch, which you'll hear more about. And the directory will allow artists to be found, to be hired, to connect with other artists in their discipline or in other disciplines, and to showcase their work and online portfolios. So you can look out for the announcements on our social media pages about the launch of the program and when applications will be open, which is in January 3rd.
All right, sounds awesome. We'll take some questions about Catapult 2 a little bit later down. Is Dimitri with us to share on Createch?
Hey guys, yes, I'm here.
Awesome.
All right, evening everybody. My name is Dimitri Dawkins. I'm the Entrepreneur Development Specialist at Kingston Creative. Just talk to you guys about Createch this evening. Createch, let me not just read from the slides. Basically what happened, we realized that to be successful cultural and creative industry entrepreneurs, we have to all become tech enabled as individuals and as companies. And so what we're trying to do through our programs is to make sure that we can match that creativity and culture with emerging technology to engage audiences, create new communities, grow your businesses, and drive investment in those businesses as well. Catherine, next slide for me. We've had a number of activities throughout this year, which will continue into next year as well as part of a 3-year program. Let me just run through them quickly. First off, we have our business and IP registration drive. This is actually still open and available. So if you have a cultural and creative industry business that you've always wanted to get started, but haven't been able to register, or maybe you're currently operating, but just operating as an individual, you have it as a side hustle or something right now, but you know that you need to get it formalized, we're here to help you with that. And if you go to our website right now at kingstoncreative.org, you can access our training sessions on how it is that you can register your business or intellectual property. Because really and truly, the sooner you formalize these things, the sooner you can get access to grants, access more in the financial industry as far as just opening a bank account, things like that. and just moving forward. It's important that as an industry, we formalize our businesses and IP so that way we can properly represent ourselves or represent the ecosystem to the government, to external partners, and to each other to properly and accurately forecast just how big of an influence we have with on the economy overall, right? Another thing that we've been focusing on is business training and the culture app development. I'll speak a little bit more about the culture app later on, but for the business training side of things, we're working with HeartTrust NTA to make sure that we can certify creatives. So far, we have 600 creatives lined up for certification programs. And once again, we'll be extending this into 2022 as well, because we're doing everything over a 3-year period. For the culture app, sorry, let me move on. For the monthly meetups, well, everybody's been participating in our meetups like this one today, as well as our Kingston Culture Forum that we had earlier this year. And so we'll be having more versions of the Kingston Culture Forum, you know, one-day events providing information, networking, building collaboration within the ecosystem and partnering with other ecosystem development partners. For January coming up, as in January 2022, AKA next week, basically, we have our Hack the City Ideathon. And the what this means is that, you know, we always see certain problems and we have in the back of our mind, you know, I think that this would be a good solution. But there's nowhere that you know where to go and find other people to work on this with you, to test the feasibility of it, to just see if this is something that can actually be done. And so this is going to be a 3-day hackathon where you can meet other people. So whether you're creative, you can meet with some techies can meet with creatives, you can brainstorm, identify solutions in different areas of need that we have locally, and work together and collaborate to identify solutions and then share them publicly. One of the main outputs of the Ideathon is that we'll have an idea reservoir that people who are just looking to upskill themselves, to test their new skills, something you just learned to against an existing problem and want to make a difference in society, you can access that idea reservoir and make a change without having to go through a full ideation process on your own. Early this year, we launched our first cohorts of our Accelerator and Incubator programs. We'll be opening that back up for 2022 as well. So the Incubator is for people at the idea stage who may not have you know, as much traction yet or product market fit and need to be provided with the ecosystem to support the growth of that business going forward. So you get hot desk membership at the Kingston Creative Hub, you get mentorship, you get training sessions, etc., to help you to identify you know, what your correct business model is, who it is you're going to be selling your product or service to, etc. And then the Accelerator is for entrepreneurs who already have some traction. You already have a product, you already have a service, you're making some revenue, and you want to get to that next level. You want to expand into a new market. And so that's why we have the Accelerator program. Similar to the Incubator program, we have mentors, we have trainers, we have other perks such as some credits with Amazon Web Services, etc. But it's designed for you to expand your market from just Jamaica to international markets and truly scale in a tech-enabled fashion. And we're not leaving out the training side of things. So we have our Incubator Summit, where we bring together business development organizations from across the world to share best practices with each other on how it is we can develop cultural and creative industry entrepreneurs and make sure that you know, we also test ourselves and make sure that we have the best approach going forward. I know we're running out of time, but just running through some more for the travel grant. It's not enough to just be exposed to the local ecosystem and industry. We also need to experience different cultures and be able to see things in other countries, travel the world, you know. So we have a travel grant program to allow 2 creatives to go to another market, collaborate with other local creatives in other markets, and, you know, be introduced to potential international partners, suppliers in their field and outside of the field to learn how to do business in other countries as well. So once again, providing exposure opportunities. And let me just run straight down to the investment and B2B meetings. We know that it's hard to meet people in the business industry. We know that it's hard to find like the right service providers to learn how it is that you can get your company set up with e-commerce, with different financial products, getting investment, things like that. And it almost seems like a different world, because most times it's a different social group. And so what we're trying to do is to make sure we can match cultural and creative industry businesses to other businesses who would be willing to purchase products and services, who would be willing to collaborate on products and services, and who would be willing to invest in those products and services as well. And once again, it's in the spirit of collaboration. It's only through more network points and knowing other people and being able to have conversations about opportunities and sharing those ideas, etc., which will help us to increase the value of the ecosystem and create new opportunities to capitalize on overall. So just to summarize the program, basically we're focused on three things. Number one, opportunity by introducing you to people that you wouldn't otherwise get access to. Secondly, making sure that you're tech enabled, so that way you can grow efficiently and scale efficiently, and it doesn't have to cost you a ton of money to enter a new market or advertise online or other things like that. And then the third thing is to make sure that we can provide opportunities for you to expand your business through either getting into new markets or getting investment to have greater market penetration in your existing markets right now. Next slide. And so as far as the Creative program, this was our target initially for this year, but we're basically using the same template for next year as well. So we're targeting to help 50 companies get their business or IP registered each year in the business and IP registration drive. For the business training and culture application development, making sure at least 200 creatives get free training in business and tech skills, 50 from downtown. For the Kingston Culture Forum and monthly meetup, making sure that we can have 150 stakeholders network on a regular basis in different monthly events. We have a database program. The fact of the matter is that there's very little data around the ecosystem. We know people individually, we know or hear of stuff, but it's not really documented. And so we're taking the approach to document things in a database. Who are the key stakeholders? What are they doing? How can you identify them? What sorts of products are available? So that way, when people come to us and they say, hey, we have this opportunity, we can immediately know who to share it with. And also when we're looking for entrepreneurs to provide new opportunities to alternatively, like we know who to talk to first and get that stakeholder feedback. As I mentioned, the Accelerator, Incubates, and Summits, this is an every year thing. We're focused on bringing at least 10 businesses into each of those and 5 international partners. The Creative Exchange Program, 2 creative entrepreneurs to travel to different countries and explore new markets each year. The Ideathon, making sure that we match creatives and tech entrepreneurs to work in teams and solve real problems that will help all of us here in Jamaica for our day-to-day lives. And then the investments and B2b meetings to package your business as an investable business or project, but then as well make sure that there are those business linkages as well for further collaboration and opportunities going forward. And yeah, I know this has been quite a mouthful and a ton load of information, but I don't know if we're doing it to the questions now or later, Catherine. You're on mute.
Muted, my bad. So after I give the last part of this presentation, we're going to Q&A, and I'm assuming there'll be a lot of questions because it's a lot of information.
Okay.
All right, so we'll just jump over to Paint the City. Now, I am sure, well, I mean, drop a thumbs up in the chat if you guys have ever been on Water Lane and seen any of the murals. Paint the City is Kingston Creative's most visible program, and for obvious reason, it's right there in the street, it's bright, it's bold, it's colorful, and it's a huge part of our mission or a part of our vision in developing downtown Kingston as an art district. Now, we've had 2 phases of Paint the City previously, through 2018 into 2021, and that generated about 65 murals along Water Lane and throughout various downtown Kingston communities. And now we're moving on to Paint the City phase 3. Now, as you can see, if you guys just zoom into the map on here, I know we're not geographers, but it just outlines where we're going to next. So we're crossing over Duke Street, heading in the direction of IOJ to create, I want to say 8 to 12 more murals. Jordan, if you could go to the next slide. What this leg of Paint the City aims to do is to create murals that represent the various art forms. Now, we have a ton of murals around Jamaica that speak to music, and we see music all the time, but we want to highlight our other art forms. We have dance, we have culinary arts, we have literature, we have filmmaking, there's poetry. I mean, you name it, Jamaica has it, and we're doing pretty well in all of these areas. And we really want to highlight not only, you know, the persons who would have grounded these art forms in Jamaica, you know, the various icons, but the art forms themselves. And so we're developing a handful, well, 2 handfuls of murals dedicated towards this. So just imagine you're walking down Water Lane and there's already, I don't know, 20, 30 murals there that speak to different cultural and creative contexts. Some of these murals talk about artists' personal stories. And then you cross over Duke Street into a whole other world where you are immersed in the various art forms of Jamaica. And we hope to infuse these murals as well with AR. And so you will be truly fully immersed in the experience. And this will seek to engage and employ close to 30 artists and will further engage several persons from the downtown community as a part of these projects. And this will be launched come early 2020, well, early 2022, you know, January to February. So our visual artists and our mural artists can look out for this. And we really want to hear from muralists and visual artists that we have yet to work with. There's a lot of talent that is untapped and, you know, we haven't engaged with yet, and we want to further engage new persons and new creatives. So that's Paint the City 3. It's not a ton of information like Dimitri's presentation. You know, it's quite simple, but I'm really looking forward to it, and I'm really excited about this project, and I hope to hear from a whole new set of visual artists that, you know, we've yet to reach out to. And now I'm going to open the floor to some Q&A. A lot was said, and I hope there are a lot of questions. So if there are questions over on YouTube, just feed them in over here. If there are questions in the chat, just drop them in and we can get into some discussion. We'll touch on this creative ecosystem in a bit, but we just want to hear from the persons in the chat. Don't know if our host is trying to work.
All right, thank you for unmuting me. All right, guys, I mean, that was a lot.
Yes, a lot is going on.
While we wait on the questions, well, I see a question. Could we unmute? Would you like to actually ask the question aloud? Amanda, could we have her unmuted and she could ask her question?
Sure. And guys, just, you know, feel free to just raise your hand, use the raise your hand icon, and we'll unmute.
Welcome, Amanda. You could go ahead with your question. Cool.
Yeah, I just want to know a little bit more about the Catapult 2 program, and I'm already currently in the Incubator, and I want to know more about it, the Catapult, and if we can do both at the same time.
Yes, so those who are in other programs like Incubator, they can also apply for a Catapult grant. So there's no limitations on the amount of programs that you're able to participate in.
Okay, great, thank you.
All right.
I see Eileen has her hand raised.
Hi, evening, everybody. Question. I'm a registered sole trader and I'd like to become a company, a registered company. Would I be able to get some assistance with that through the business registration drive?
Yeah, so we can put you in touch with our contact at the company's office of Jamaica to assist you with that process. I'm not sure. The business registration drive is targeted at first-time registrants, so I don't think you'd qualify for us to cover the fees directly, but definitely as a participant in our Accelerator program, we will provide the introduction and facilitation so you can convert from sole trader to limited liability.
Okay. Do you have any other questions from, I mean, guys, tonight it's about you. It is, a town hall. All your questions are welcome. And I mean, as we wait on those questions, Catherine, I know you spoke about Paint the City. Is there a timeline that we're working with? Anything like that the persons can think about?
Definitely, you can start thinking about Paint the City. So we are hoping to launch the open call towards late January, early February. And as I said, we're looking at designs that cover the various art forms. And we're not limited in our options of that, right? I'm expecting to see really vibrant, diverse designs coming in, and you can apply to, or you can send in designs to more than one art form. So say you sent in something on dance, you can definitely send in something on music, something on fashion, something on culinary arts. It doesn't matter, you're not limited. The open call will close late February, if our timeline does align the way we have it set out. So, I mean, start thinking about it and, get your designs ready for the open call. And we'll put out a brief. So it will explain what it is exactly that we're looking for. We've reached out to the various industry associations to say, hey, give us the background on your sector. Tell us the persons who are instrumental in developing these various areas. And so we'll use this information to help kind of guide the artists in their thoughts as they create their designs.
Okay, perfect. And just a follow-up question for those who would want to apply to this. Where's the best place to get information when you actually roll it out? Would it be the Kingston Creative page, or is there a website they could go to sign up to get an email? What would be the best way for them to keep up to date?
Certainly. You can email us at info@kingstoncreative.org and ask questions on whether it's Paint the City 3 or any of the other programs that we've spoken about. You can also email the various project managers, Dimitri on his Createch program, myself on the Art District Matters, Khadija on Catapult, and you can also visit our website. We frequently update the information there so that you guys can be guided. And as for the open call itself, it will definitely be posted on our various social media. It will be available on our website, so you can access it from various areas and apply.
Okay, perfect. So that's a lot of different places. I see questions in the chat asking it from Michelle. When do we apply for the Catapult grant? Is there a deadline?
So the grant will be open for applications and on January the 3rd and close on January 21st. So it's a 3-week application period.
Okay, so that's January 3rd to January 23rd, and that's for the Catapult grant. Perfect. And Eileen is asking, when will the Creative Exchange program be open?
I'll double check and let you guys know. It should be in the first quarter of next year, because we were actually supposed to have one group initially in this last quarter and we had to postpone. So we should have the first quarter of next year where they open applications for that.
Perfect. And for those of you just joining us, whether here on Zoom or on YouTube, this is the Kingston Creative Townhall edition. We're talking about the different things that will be happening in 2022. We have Catherine speaking to us about Paint the City, that project. We have Dimitri talking to us about the different projects that you can be a part of on Kingston Creative. And we also have Khadija talking to us about Catapult 2, that we, all the different things you can be a part of as well. So we're facilitating questions. for anyone who may have just joined us, Catherine, can you briefly just, outline some of the things that they would need to know? Just a brief outline while we feed in the other questions in the meantime. So each of you could just give a one-liner for anyone who has just joined as to what these projects will be about.
Okay, well, as Tavia just mentioned, tonight is about you, the creatives. We're sharing what we have for you, and we want to hear from you what you need from us. Myself, Dimitri, Khadija have shared on our various programs. I'll just briefly outline Paint the City. It is the third leg of the Paint the City program that will be launched in 2022, January 2022. And it will be a series of murals that cover the various art forms that Jamaica has to offer. And that will continue along Water Lane, and the open call should be open come February of next year. So we encourage muralists and visual artists to start mulling over some designs, start brainstorming, start doing some background research. You can reach out to ourselves or any of the industry associations that you are interested in covering to inform your designs.
Thank you so much. Dimitri, for the newcomers to our open forum town hall.
Sure. Okay, so the Creative program, I think it's a large initiative from Kingston Creative. Overall, we want to make sure that entrepreneurs become tech-enabled, that they can scale their businesses locally and into larger markets, that they are formalized and be able to attract investments and financing as well. And then we also have a lot of impact that we'd like to have through our hackathons, where we'd like to solve problems for day-to-day living in Jamaica through collaboration and working together. So it's how we are pairing cultural and creative industry stakeholders, and especially entrepreneurs, with business opportunities and finance, with understanding how to get their businesses tech-enabled and scale locally and internationally, and a whole bunch of stuff in between. And you can always check out more as well on the kingstoncreative.org website. We have an entire section for creative.
Thank you so much. And Khadija, just a quick one-liner on Catapult for our newcomers.
Yes, so Catapult 2 is a COVID-19 relief grant that is specifically for Caribbean-based artists. We will be selecting 300 artists to award $500 each.
Perfect. Thank you so much. I see a question from Amanda. What are the requirements for the Catapult application? So right on point.
It's, as I just mentioned, it is solely for Caribbean-based artists. So if you reside in the Caribbean, and this grant is for you.
Perfect. And I believe this one would be for you, Catherine. Can photos be used or submitted for Paint the City Phase 3?
The photo can be submitted to indicate your inspiration, but we definitely recommend you send in something hand-drawn, hand-painted, or even if you produce it digitally, because we want to be able to know that the person who sent this design in can also execute it themselves. And a photo isn't necessarily the best representation of that. So if you can take a photo, sure, and say, this is my inspiration, but definitely send in work that you have hand produced in some way to show us your skill level.
Okay, perfect. And of course, Amanda, if that answered your question, okay, great. So I want to remind you guys, tonight it's a town hall. Feel free to raise your hand. We can invite you to speak. I see, pardon me if I mispronounced your name, Tanaja K. Collins. Is that how you pronounce your name? I'd love to invite you to share your ideas that you typed here in the chat. It's an open forum. This is where we talk about the different things that were presented just now, and you sharing how these align with your goals. So I'd love to invite you to make your recommendation. If you could be unmuted or tech support. In the meantime,
are you hearing me?
Yes, we can hear you. Welcome to Kingston Creative Meetup.
Thank you.
All right, go ahead.
Okay, so I see you guys have been doing webinars. I've just found you about 2 weeks ago or 3 weeks ago. And one of the webinars that I would recommend, I would love it, especially because I'm just starting in business, is that basic business accounting, probably how to, get around our taxes, how to do a cash flow statement, a balance sheet, stuff like that. I would love a webinar, our webinars on that.
I see books opening and pens writing, so we're taking note of that.
I am taking notes.
I'm also currently a student in social media marketing right now, the course right now.
Okay. Just to comment on that, I believe we do have.
Is Dimitri still with us?
Yeah, you're not hearing me? Hello?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay,
yes,
great. Yeah, if I remember correctly, I believe in January, we should be having a session on bookkeeping. We have 2 sessions, actually. We should be having one of the lunch and learn sessions with tax admin Jamaica to make sure to explain to everybody how to file their year-end tax returns and what you need to consider as part of that. And the second one is with some representatives from Xero.com, Xero. It's an online accounting platform similar to QuickBooks, where they're going to be explaining, what are some of the best practices you can use, etc. We also have some previous recordings from a couple of stakeholders on bookkeeping and how to manage that best. And I will see if, I'm not sure if we're publishing those now, because I think we have to edit them first, but I'll just double check and see if we can get those edited and put up on the site, because we have been collecting a lot of sessions and information that we want to be able to make public in future for people to access at any time rather than necessarily specifically for webinar. So you'll see a lot more things like that going forward. I'd encourage you to follow our Instagram page where we promote a lot of these webinars.
I do follow your Instagram page, and I keep updated.
Okay, perfect. So we definitely have 2 between January and February that are coming up, and we have some additional sessions that we've already recorded but need to be edited, and we'll upload them at some point.
Okay.
Amazing. I see Andrew saying as well that there's some training sessions on YouTube as well. So you could check those out in the meantime too. I see Michelle asking in the chat, what about the DBJ? Any plans to collaborate for grant funding for creatives? I know we spoke about that recently, Dimitri. Do you want to take that one?
Sure. Up to recently, we had our Best Pitch Forward event. That was just 2 or 3 weeks ago. That was also sponsored by the DBJ, where we're providing over $500,000 worth of funding to creative entrepreneurs, as well as setting up the direct B2b meetings with investors. But right now, available to everyone, you can go onto dbjserve.com and apply for the DBJ Serve Go Digital Voucher. It will provide you with $300,000 to tech enable your business. Separately from that, you have the regular voucher for technical assistance that will provide up to $250,000 for different things, such as getting your finances in order, doing a business plan, getting your initial marketing plan done, things like that. And that's available right now online. It's available to all entrepreneurs, not just creative entrepreneurs. So make sure to tell your friends as well. But that's available right now. You can go to dbjvoucher.com or dbjserve.com and access those. And we will be working with the DBJ and other partners for creative specific grants as well, but we're always here to share opportunities that are available to cultural and creative industry entrepreneurs throughout the year.
Amazing. I see Jonathan Roberts has his hand raised. Could we have tech support unmute him to share his thoughts or questions with us? And while that happens, reminding everyone joining us tonight, we are talking about you. It's what it is that you would like to see. If there are any questions you have on what has been presented, feel free to drop those questions in the chat. We've already spoken about Catapult 2. We've spoken about Create Tech, the different offerings to creatives, and of course, Paint the City, Water Lane Phase 3.
I just want to jump in, Tavia, if I can. For us to, the questions are already flowing, so I feel like we're already there, but I want to move us into the open forum discussion. We can address a couple more questions that are specifically related to the programs, but I don't want time to run away from us, and I really want to get the other side of questions that are not so much about us, but that are about you. So we can take a couple more here before we move in that direction.
Sure. And while we're waiting on the questions, is Jonathan still with us? In the meantime, Catherine, I know you can.
Hello, yes, I am. Oh, sorry.
Okay, perfect. Go ahead, Jonathan.
Hi, good evening, everyone. I went to school downtown, so I just wanted to start by saying thank you guys for doing this. It's really beautiful to go on the different roads and the different lanes and see the different murals. It's beautiful, so I love that. And earlier you were talking about the network, and I do agree where if you're not in the circle, you really don't know a lot that's going on. So how do the database that you mentioned, where do we go to find out these things? I do follow the Instagram, I do follow on Twitter, but is there anything else? And just things like that.
Sure. Let me add on to that. So we will be having general applications or where you can just register yourself on the database publicly soon. The public form isn't fully available yet, right, Khadija? Yeah, but in the meantime, I can tell you that all of our applications for our programs now, you should see a little checkbox on there asking if it's okay to store your information or contact you in our creative database. And that's because we're building it from now and using that to notify people of opportunities and anything else. So, I mean, literally from if you apply for our business and IP registration drive, or you apply for Incubator or Accelerator or any of the other programs coming out, once you've checked and accepted that, we will just add your information automatically to the database, and we'll be having a launch later on in 2022 to fully go through what's included in the database, how it's structured, and how everybody in the ecosystem will be able to leverage the database as best as possible to collaborate moving forward.
And I just want to add to that, Dimitri, that you can either drop us a message on social media or message us at info@kingstoncreative.org, or visit our website and indicate that you would like to, get updated via monthly newsletters, be added to our mailing list. We do send out regular newsletters and information on all the upcoming things and our various events. So in addition to the database, you can be updated through that way. So feel free to visit us at any of those mediums.
Will do. And thank you very much. It's very interesting.
Thank you for joining us.
All right, amazing. Catherine, I believe this is a good time for us to just talk through the creative ecosystem that would help persons on the chat tonight, this evening, to see the different areas that they believe may be underserved, or where they'd like to see more done, or if there is anything that they would want to be a part of that we've talked about tonight. So you could have that shared on screen, and you could talk us through it a little bit.
All right, definitely. So as I would have mentioned at the top of the presentation, Kingston Creative is about building our creatives, developing our creatives and our downtown community. And we try to do so through 6 areas, as you can see here on the creative ecosystem. We provide creative and workspaces for creatives. So these are artist studios, co-working spaces, offices for entrepreneurs, where you can, have a space to literally develop your craft. We also provide innovation centers, hubs, networks, research, and think tanks, where you can not only have access to other creatives and collaborate, but you have persons and facilitators who can help you develop these ideas and help you develop your businesses. We provide trainings, programs, workshops, spaces such as accelerators and maker spaces. And these are capacity building programs, developmental programs that are more education focused, so that you can learn and grow through that way. Kingston Creative also provides an audience through various events. The events may not have been such a big part of things in 2021 for obvious reasons, but we're hoping to get back to that. So it's audience through, festivals, events, performances, and spaces for these things, as well as a space to sell your wares. So we had the Artisan Store, which is not currently running, again, a COVID thing, but hoping to get back to that. We provide communication and visibility for creatives. So we help you to get your word out there. We provide databases that Khadija and Dimitri would have spoken about marketing, online platforms, and community outreach, such as e-commerce platforms and so on. And lastly, grant funding, which is, you know, a huge thing that everybody needs, no matter what sector you find yourself in. So it's grant funding through private and public and NGO entities. It's grant funds, art funds, capital and seed funding. And these are our 6 general areas. And guys, just look at it, you know, pause. Again, a lot of information going on tonight, but pause, take a look at it and think, where have you been underserved or do you feel needs more attention? And where have you seen a lot of programs going on and you say, okay, I'm comfortable in that area. So we can use that to guide us through or open forum discussion.
All right, thank you. I see Amanda saying in the chat she needs assistance figuring out a business name. Dimitri, is that something that Kingston can assist with?
I don't know if that's something directly, but what I'd recommend, Amanda, is since you're in the entrepreneur group, you know, just brainstorm there. I think the best thing to do for something like that is to work with other creatives, and you know, everybody just shared ideas and some pros and cons with each name, and you know, test it. Of course, there's always the domain test, that you know, see if the domain is available or if it's not affiliated with something else. But most importantly, I think the thing to remember is that your registered company name isn't necessarily the brand name that you use online. You can always register a trading as name separate and apart. So you can have, I don't know, Black Tile Inc. Sorry, I just looked at the ground. Yeah, Black Tile Inc. and just decide that that's the registered company name, but you can then have a trading as name for anything else in future. And that can evolve over time as well as your brand changes.
Okay, perfect. All right, so there you go, Amanda. You can, you know, joining on those groups, be a part of those conversations, and let's see if we can get your name.
All right. I mean, while this open discussion is going on, can we launch the poll that kind of speaks to everything we've been talking about tonight? So you guys can really say, we can collect that information on, you know, where you're at and what you need. But I mean, continue to, oh, the poll just came up on my screen, close. Continue to bring those questions into the chat, and we'll check on YouTube what's happening over there.
Guys, remember, don't be shy with the poll. It's anonymous, and it really helps to provide us with data to understand how to structure the programs that we have and how much funding needs to be allocated for cultural and creative industry businesses to really make a difference. I mean, we're not here for just the, you know, saying things or just providing a small stipend for stipend's sake. We want to be able to provide the adequate amount of effort and funding to enable your growth over time.
I say we're very focused on the poll, but we can we can whistle and ride.
So while the poll is running, Catherine, we can talk a little bit about, you know, some of these projects and what we've seen in the past. I know Paint the City, this is now number 3. I mean, can we talk a little bit about the areas that we'll be working on, you know, what has been the success of the project from the start to now?
Paint the City project has had huge success. It's absolutely crazy. It started out as just a very small organic thing that kind of took on a life of its own, where we had almost a very informal program where artists were we invited artists to just kind of lively up the space. And it took place during one of our art walks, and it just kind of continued from there. And then it became very formalized, where we, had specific open calls, and we got partners on board, and that produced Paint the City Phase 2, which was recently completed early 2021. I keep forgetting we're in 2021. So that was completed earlier this year, and the murals are just absolutely gorgeous, and it's surprising how many people it's brought into downtown, and it has brought other persons to start taking care of the space. Government agencies had come and they've paved the road and they've done their own murals as well. So I'm happy that it's inspiring other persons to start remembering that downtown is a creative and cultural space, and we should really take care of it and make it look good, make it feel like the cultural and creative space that it is. And so now we're moving on to Phase 3. And so, as I said before, this will cover the various art forms, and I'm hugely excited about it because, again, Jamaica has such a rich creative and cultural background that there is no bounds to what can be created in this phase of Paint the City. So very much looking forward to that. Paint the City has really grown, and it's just absolutely beautiful. But not only are we in Water Lane, we are in various downtown Kingston communities. So we are in Parade Gardens, we are we're in Ray Street, we are in Hannahtown, we are in Trenchtown. Currently, there are 2 active murals in Trenchtown and Hannahtown, one geared towards, kind of reducing crime, getting people to build a relationship with the police again, and one in Trenchtown geared towards just talking about that musical history that we know that Trenchtown is famous for. So much to look out for and much more to come, and just very excited about it.
So we're really painting the city. You've been in.
We are literally painting the city.
Love it. And just remind us where we're doing Paint the City 3, which sections of downtown we'll be painting.
Okay, so this section of Paint the City is going to continue across Water Lane. So, again, thumbs up in the chat if you've been on Water Lane so far. You know that there are a couple more buildings on the other end that have not been touched yet, and we're going in that direction that heads toward heads towards IOJ. So that's where we're going.
Lovely, lovely, lovely.
Before I hop off, I just want to remind all the creatives in the chat that we are leading up to a conversation with Miguel Adwin, who is going to talk us through NFTs, which is, something to look forward to in 2022. It's been a buzz for this year, and I'm sure you want to learn more about it. So please remember that, that's our feature conversation tonight as well.
Amazing. And remind you guys to feel free, raise your hands. This is your night. This is the Townhall edition of our meetup. So please to feel free to share your thoughts. I see Danija in the chat. On the camera.
Yes, Danija has done one of our murals.
So welcome to the meetup. And any of you other creators here, feel free, ask your questions, make your recommendations. Maybe for the next couple of minutes, we could have the ecosystem shared again, just so what do you need from us in 2022? There you go. So it's really your night. So let us know what it is we need to make note of. Earlier, we got recommendations of some webinars that Kingston Creative can do. Feel free to make those other recommendations. What do you want to see in 2022? Okay. So we could bring up go ahead, Dimitri.
I was just saying that while we wait for a couple of people to raise their hands as well, I just wanted to go through the questions a little bit in case anybody hasn't responded to the poll because they didn't fully understand. Okay. So the first question about what amount of funding do you need to grow your business? This is just to give us a general idea of what the funding needs are as part of the ecosystem. Oftentimes I find that some grant programs just don't provide enough. Somebody might need, say, $2 million to get their business to the next level, but only 250,000 or 300,000 is available, and so it's not fit for purpose. And so this information can definitely help us to educate funders, investors, grant providers, etc., on what the direct needs are, so that way programs can be designed adequately for participants. With regards to, what type of creative space do you need? A retail space, there is just what you typically refer to for a store, etc. Right? I'm small versus large performance space is relative, but I guess everybody can then use their own interpretation on that side. Office space is what you use for administration or exec offices as needed. Artist studio, of course, self-explanatory. Manufacturing and production space. We found that many people have been mixing up a regular office space with a manufacturing or production space, which oftentimes needs to be equipped differently because of the type of activity that's going in there, and maybe even certain things like you have to use concrete floors instead of tiles, making sure you have more sinks available, drains, etc., etc. Maybe higher roof of ventilation, things like that. Just scrolling down some more as far as training needs, whether social media for your Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, Instagram, digital skills can just mean, making sure you know how to use Google Sheets or Google Docs or Office 365, etc. Marketing applies to both digital and traditional marketing overall and other non-traditional marketing methods. Finance is a very broad topic, but yes, we know many people are afraid of the numbers, and we'd like people to get more comfortable with that. Legal, what are the legal implications? People management, meaning HR, developing your team, etc. And of course, entrepreneurship, how is it that you can monetize the work that you're doing? And then, what parts of the ecosystem is well covered. We have different factors here. Just take everything that applies, so that way we can know what areas we're not covering well enough, because there are multiple programs outside of even Kingston Creatives that are providing services in these different areas, but we have to make sure that the gaps are also addressed. And so we need to know from you what gaps we need to focus on, which goes into the next question of, what's in need of the most help. And then finally, just once again to give an overview for Creative Hack, Incubator, and Catapult 2. Creative Hack is our project to help people fix issues that they see in society, collaborate with each other, begin to learn how to ideate and form a quick team over a weekend and create a proof of concept of a solution that could help. The incubator is to help you to identify product market fit for that idea you may have for a product or service or a business to go. We provide you with some hot desk membership, training, mentorship, and B2b introductions, as well as opportunities for funding. And then Catapult 2 is a COVID relief grant for artists, where we're selecting is 300 Khadija, grants 500 US for 300 different artists overall. So you can just pick which of those three you're most interested in.
All right, thank you so much, Dimitri. And of course, if you guys still have questions for any of the questions throughout the poll, feel free to raise your hands and you can ask them. And
well, Tavia, there are some questions coming in from YouTube.
Okay.
Well, first of all, Kevin, all the way from Trinidad, says hi. He's in the house. Hi, Kevin. Kayla says she needs help with packaging. How can she find the suppliers? I don't know, Dimitri, that's not specific to our program that we have, but I know we have, a little bit of experience pointing creatives in the way of investors and business partners and so on. Any possible advice for Kayla on, finding suppliers for packaging?
It depends on the type of packaging, because packaging is very broad overall, but if she wants, you can give me send me an email, Dimitri@kingstoncreative.org, DMITRI, to just let me know what type of packaging, and maybe we can do some matchmaking on the B2B side for that.
All right, no problem. So that's Dimitri, DMITRI, @kingstoncreative.org, Kayla. So just reach out to Dimitri and probably he can give you some guidance there. Another question over on YouTube is that creatives have difficulty in applying for grants, just need some help with proposal writing. Any advice that we can give there?
Wow. By far, I mean, from a local context, the JBDC has a grant writing workshop that they put on twice per year, and it's an excellent workshop. And I recommend anyone to participate. It's based on what's called the log framework. And you can look up the log framework and log framework grant writing online as well, and there are a couple of guides there. Alternatively, what you can also use is a DBJ voucher for technical assistance, and use one of those vouchers with a business development organization. Typically, any of the ones who can write business plans or approve for business plans could complete a grant application as well. It's just very difficult because most times when you're applying for a grant, there's a narrow time window. And of course, you have to align their capacity with the submission date. So, but I guess if you talk to them ahead of time or create an initial framework, you can just edit depending on the grant that you're applying for.
Dimitri, on that one, is it possible for us to type in the chat or tell us again so everyone can know who they would contact, any of those names that you mentioned just now? You could drop them in the chat for those of us here who may not remember.
Sure, no problem.
Okay, awesome. All right, while he does that, Catherine, any other questions coming through from YouTube?
On YouTube side of things, not just yet. Not just yet.
All right, beautiful. Well, guys, tonight it's about you. It's a town hall, and of course, it's just about that time for us to hear about NFTs. What is it? What are they? I mean, everyone is talking about it. It's time to learn more about it. Of course, you can still field your questions in the chat. You can still field your questions on YouTube, and we'll be happy to get to them later on as well. But right now, we're going to be inviting Miguel Adwin. He's the CEO of Fimi Market. I'd love to invite him on stage with us so that he can talk to us a lot more, not just a little bit, but a lot more on what NFTs are and how we can be a part of it. Hi, Miguel, welcome. I'm waiting for you to join me on the spotlight and for you to be unmuted. Welcome to the meetup. Yes, we can hear you.
Fantastic, fantastic. Good night, everybody. How are you?
We are well. We are waiting for you to give us all the insights you have about this NFT that everyone is talking about.
Fantastic. I'm checking one thing here. I'm not able to share my screen just yet.
Okay, I believe you would get that privilege in just a few. So while tech support works on that, could you, while you get those privileges, just share with everyone a quick introduction of who Miguel Adwin is so they can put context to what we'll be talking about tonight.
All right. Well, hi, I'm Miguel Adwin. I am Jamaican born, educated, just born and raised in Kingston, Jamaica. So I am the CEO of Fimi Market. We are an NFT marketplace. Our main mandate is to ensure that we increase representation, we increase diversity in the NFT space. That is something that many people are calling for because we want to be able to see ourselves when we look at that industry. We want to be able to see ourselves when we decide, hey, can I list NFTs online? Can I earn income from NFTs online, etc.? So I got access to sharing. Can you see my screen?
Yes,
I just want to make sure. Okay, fantastic, fantastic. Do you see a countdown or do you just see a slide?
We're seeing intro to NFTs and cryptocurrency.
All right, fantastic, fantastic. All right, so shall I begin?
Sure.
Thank you very much, Tavia. Thank you, thank you. So I'd first like to say thank you very much to the Kingston Creative team for having me. Something about cryptocurrency is something that is dear to my heart. So I always look forward to opportunities where I can share more information on crypto. Now, while cryptocurrency and NFTs are not a new concept, the industry around them have recently exploded in adoption and market cap. In the first half of 2021, and COVID was still around, businesses were still closed, etc. NFTs amassed a whopping 2.5 billion US dollars in sales. So that's 2.5 billion in just the first half of 2021. So you are here to find out what are NFTs. How does one enter the world of NFTs? So let's first define some terminology used in the space. We have fungible versus non-fungible tokens. Now, NFT means non-fungible token. So non-fungible token is a weird term, right? So let's define what fungible means itself. Fungible means the ability to be replaced by another identical item. So let's give you an example. Every $50 bill in your pocket right now is fungible because every one of them represents the same exact value, same currency, etc. So by definition then, non-fungible tokens are all unique. Another term that you'll hear when you enter the crypto world is blockchain. So all transactions are stored on what's called a blockchain. It is secure, publicly accessible technology. Historical items on the blockchain can never be changed, but new items may be added, like the NFT that you create, for example. So unlike certain ledgers, let's take a look at your accounting. I remember somebody asking about, accounting for businesses, etc. Unlike your ledger where you can go back and make changes to transactions, you cannot do that on the blockchain. And what that means is nefarious actors can't go in and change data. So another term that we hear, wallet. A wallet provides you with a way to view the number and value of crypto that you possess on the blockchain. So all your data is stored on the blockchain. The wallet allows you to read the data on the blockchain. So we have two more definitions to go. Minting. Minting is the act of creating an NFT. So when you talk to people in the NFT space, you hear mint being thrown around a lot. I minted this NFT, I'm gonna be minting this NFT, etc. So it really is just the act of creating an NFT. And the final and most important one in my book is the crypto exchange. The crypto exchange provides a method to convert your cryptocurrency to and from everyday dollars. So let's jump into what is an NFT. NFT, as mentioned before, means non-fungible token. An NFT is a digital asset representing objects such as art, music, in-game items, videos, and more. NFTs are bought and sold online using cryptocurrency and are cryptographically encrypted and unique on the blockchain. So remember, we spoke about something that is fungible versus non-fungible. Every single NFT is unique. So why create an NFT? All right, so when you create an NFT, it's created and stored in your wallet. Because this is a secure and cryptographically signed transaction, you are the verifiable owner of this item. So that means it provides you with irrefutable proof of ownership. Another thing that comes from creating NFTs and joining the industry is that you receive royalties for your work product. Functionality can be enabled for NFTs, which ensure that you receive a royalty for all future sales. So once it hits the secondary market, etc., you can still receive royalties. This is particularly good news to musicians, and particularly musicians in Jamaica, because I know that we struggle with getting royalties, etc. So musicians sometimes struggle with record label transparency and receiving royalties, etc. NFTs and the blockchain can help with that. Why create an NFT? 24/7 availability, it never closes. Cryptocurrency trading is 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. And one more important example is to eliminate intermediaries. You no longer need to wait on a gallery to curate your art and accept you with their varied terms and commissions, etc. The when and how to list your art. You completely remove that middleman and you decide, you become your own boss. Now, creatives from all walks of life have entered the NFT space. And I'm going to give you some examples of what, has existed in the NFT space this year and the year before. So a 12-year-old Nyla Hayes sold her first NFT collection titled Long Necky Ladies. The collection sold for $3.4 million US. She creates her art by drawing on an iPad and minting as an NFT. 8 minutes, 46 seconds, in memoriam George Floyd by artist Matt Kane. Kane has made $131,000 US on his NFT art in the last 2 years. Now, our very own neighbors are also taking part in the NFT space. Jamaican-Nigerian digital collagist Idris Veach is one of the first artists in the region to sell his art on global NFT markets. Idris, coincidentally, was the first artist signed to Femi Market Inc. So he is one of our Genesis artists, and you will see his work on our marketplace when we launch in Q1 2022. Basie, we all know Basie from TOK. He is the first recording artist out of Jamaica to sell his music as an NFT. So, when you are thinking of minting an NFT, choosing a marketplace, etc., there are a few considerations. You need to take a look at, for example, your own expense, the cost of your own label. You also need to take a look at, are you creating a one-of-one or a collection? So let's take a look at the differences. Due to rarity, a one-of-one commands higher prices because you're looking at rarity, you're looking at something that is more unique. So people tend to bid higher and pay higher prices for one-of-ones. If you are doing a collection, however, which is also an option, obviously you're gonna price your item and look for a marketplace that allows you to create a collection. So when you're also deciding how you're gonna price your item, etc., you want to take a look at competitive work, right? Compare your work to similar items listed on other marketplaces or listed on the marketplace that you are considering listing on. When you are on the marketplace, take a look at the fees. What kind of fees are you going to be paying? Consider what's called gas fees based on the blockchain to be used. So a blockchain, typically they call it gas fees. Ethereum, for example, is known for having some of the highest gas fees, and it varies by time. So that is a consideration when you're saying, you know what, I want to sell my NFT for, and I'm just going to give you US dollars. If you're going to sell your NFT for $1,000, for example, you need to consider how much gas am I going to pay within this, right? And then decide accordingly if that's a fair price for your item. So now that you've decided on pricing, how do you then list your work on a platform? So the first thing you want to do is you want to create a wallet. Remember we spoke about a wallet. The wallet shows you the number and value of items that you have stored on the blockchain. So you create a crypto wallet, you choose a platform. We just touched on some of the things you want to look for on a platform, right? So decide on an NFT marketplace. You upload your work, and each marketplace will tell you the file types, the file size restrictions, etc., that it will accept. And once your item is sold, you receive the proceeds. Now, this is one of the beauty of cryptocurrency. Your item sells, you receive the proceeds immediately. You don't go through any intermediary, you don't go through the bank yet, right? And everything on crypto tends to be much faster and much more secure than the real world. However, don't just jump into NFTs thinking, you know what, I can just go in, I can start my own business, sell my creative work, etc., and just not be careful. Always be careful online, because unfortunately we have bad actors everywhere. There are people getting hacked, there are companies getting hacked. We've all heard of it. So ensure that you secure yourself, right? So a couple of things that you definitely want to pay attention to. Never expose your private key or seed phrase. So let me explain what a private key is. If I'm gonna send you money, for example, I'm gonna send you 1 Ethereum coin. What I'm gonna send it to is your public key. So the public key is a key that everybody knows. You give that out, you say, pay me here, etc. The private key provides access to your entire account. You never ever have to give anyone that, because that is like giving somebody the keys to your car and asking them not to steal it. The seed phrase can actually be used to regenerate the private key. So once somebody has your seed phrase, they have complete access to your account. When you create a wallet, there are 2 types of wallets, a non-custodial wallet and a custodial wallet. If you are creating a custodial wallet, what you need to ensure now is that you protect your own private keys, you protect your seed phrase. I'm sorry, that's a non-custodial wallet, my apologies. If you are a part of a custodial wallet, you definitely don't need to worry about that, but you just make sure that you secure your username, password, etc., just like everything else. Always use a browser and computer that you trust. This one goes without saying. It's just like shopping online, etc. Just make sure that this computer is something you trust. Now, when choosing a marketplace, always consider the following. And we touched a bit on this before. So research the platform and their social media presence. Take a look at them. Do they align with your principles, your values, what it is that you're expecting from the marketplace? Are fees and expenses easily found? Can you go on it and say, if I am selling this work, it's gonna be 1% for this, 2% for that, and you have no problem finding that information. If you have to struggle to find the information, I would say, try to reach out or just move on. Do they mention receiving any rights to your work for a listing? This one is very important. Similar to a policy Google had many, many years ago, where when you uploaded some images to their platform, they had the right to actually mine that data, use that data, etc. Right? Make sure that you know what you're giving up. So also read their terms of service and privacy policy. You need to ensure that you're protecting yourself and your work. I cannot stress that enough. Now, we ran through pretty quickly on what NFTs are, introduction to NFTs, etc. Thank you very much. As mentioned at my opening, Fimi Market will be launching our own NFT marketplace in Q1 2022. Our marketplace will boast multiple blockchains. So unlike many others where you can only use one blockchain, you can use multiple blockchains on the Fimi NFT marketplace. We have a thing called later minting, which obviously is, the Jamaican word for later. Minting fees are delayed until the item is sold, so you don't pay the minting fee up front. In addition, not only do you have later minting, but our minting fees are also very low. We also have a thing called Brata. Brata is paid out, it's a 20% bonus paid out to all pre-sale token buyers. Fimi has a utility token, which is currently in pre-sale. So if you want to get a piece of the Fimi pie, feel free to check out our website. Our website is fimi.market. And thank you very much. I know I had to run through to make sure that I got everything in time. So thank you so very much for having me.
Thank you so much, Miguel. I mean, I'm sure there are lots of questions because, even though this has been in a space for a bit, it is still new to a lot of us. And so there may be some questions from our audience. Well, the first one is they want to know if they can get the slides.
Yes, I'll send it over.
Okay, amazing. So is it Cheyenne McKay? You'll get those slides. I don't know if you want to drop your email address or if you'll direct it to Kingston Creative. Rory has a question. Can FIMI help with minting?
Yes, yes, we can. As a part of our plan, we are actually going to be coming down to Jamaica. We are going to have a presence in Jamaica, for example, to onboard creatives. We are going to be that friend that helps you to mint your artwork. And we are not charging you a dime extra for that either. Whatever the platform fees are, that is exactly what they will remain. But, you know, we believe in education. We believe in getting more people into the space. The idea of the crypto community is that it's very welcoming. It's very open. It's for everybody, right? And we want to make sure that when we say everybody, that includes Caribbean people.
Amazing. Sean is thanking you so much. He says it's the best explanation of NFT so far. So thank you for such a clear presentation. I know while we wait on some other questions to feed through, quick question for you, Miguel. How do we convert from our crypto to money that we can spend right now? I know we're not there yet in Jamaica where we can spend crypto to buy some food or fill up our gas tank. So how do we convert it?
All right, so do you remember me mentioning the crypto exchange? So the crypto exchange is actually the utility for that. They provide the utility to get that done. So in theory, how it works is this. You have your crypto. You have a company that is a crypto exchange. They then take your crypto, whatever currency it is that they support. And for example, they convert it to US dollars. You typically have a bank account tied now to this crypto exchange. So when you convert it to US dollars, you pretty much go ka-ching, withdraw, and it sends an ACH transaction to your account.
Okay, amazing. Rory, I see you have a question. We'd love to invite you to ask. And so we'd ask tech support if they could unmute you so you could, you know, have a live conversation with Miguel on what you want to know about crypto and about NFTs. So we'll ask tech support to unmute you.
Thank you. I was just asking Miguel or prompting him to talk about any educational component that FIMI markets will have to help artists, not just to help them with minting, but just educate them in general about NFTs and how they can profit from being part of the NFT market.
Okay, thanks, Rory. So look at it this way. This is just one of many times you're going to see my face in Jamaica. We are kicking off an entire leg of getting people aware that we exist. Also, we have a large presence on Twitter. Every Wednesday, we have a Twitter Spaces, and we devote that to education. We devote that to spreading the word of NFTs. We devote that to speaking about topical issues in the cryptocurrency world. So if you take a look at our Twitter handle, it is FIMI_market. I hope I said that right. Every Wednesday at 8:30 EST, 8:30 p.m. EST, you can always catch us there. You know, it's always going to be topical. Sometimes it might be emotional and contentious. If, you know, a couple of weeks ago we had something on race. Well, sorry, not race, diversity and inclusion. It became, you know, once you start to talk about those things, certain people immediately go to, right? So, you know, it got heated for a minute, but it was respectful. You know, everybody had a chance to say what they had to say. And at the end of the day, we left with, you know, 200 and something people flowed through the space, and the energy was just positive, you know, and everybody was happy.
Amazing. So I've dropped that handle in the chat for everyone to see. That's FIMI_market. So feel free to join their Twitter Space conversations. We have another question from YouTube for you, Miguel. What are the benefits of creating NFTs on the blockchain as opposed to physical art?
The benefit is that the blockchain will outlive you. right? The blockchain is something, when you have an NFT, I can give you a few examples, right? So you have an NFT, you can hand this item down through generations and it is the exact same thing. You know, you don't have to consider to save it, set the oxygen level right, and make sure that the room is set at the right temperature and all of that so that your work can live on. It will not burn. It will not get waterlogged. It will be there forever. Another benefit is something that I mentioned earlier, and this is something that has gotten very popular, royalties, right? If you are an artist and you want to receive royalties on your work, right now, the best way to do that, the most foolproof way to do that is by using NFTs on the blockchain. And this is only going to get better, you know, as 2022 advances.
Thank you. I have another question for you from YouTube. How are NFTs valued?
Now this question, it's valued based on, you know what? It's a demand and supply issue. It's art, right? How do you decide that the thing that you drew can command $1 million, right? It's about the appreciation of the art. It's about how many people now are in line to appreciate the art. Obviously, that's going to increase the demand, right? And you can definitely charge more for things like unique items that people are clamoring for. If you take a look at, for example, there's a collection called Bored Ape Yacht Club. Everybody is clamoring for that. Just the other day, somebody accidentally sold one for like $3,000 when it was supposed to be sold for 280 something thousand US dollars. This is something people want. That's what the demand does.
Ah, wow. I have a question from Eileen. I'd love to have tech support unmute you so you could ask your question for us.
Hi, I'm not a practicing artist, so this is more an interest. Does this work for tangible items or just digital, like audio, digitally created artwork, that kind of thing?
Okay, so right now, the majority of NFTs are purely digital. However, we have a couple of artists who are coming on our platform. What they are doing is they are, for example, taking a picture of the physical visual art, right? They are taking a picture of it. Let's say it's a painting, for example. They're taking a picture of it. They're selling it as an NFT. And when you purchase the NFT, they say, you know what, we'll also send you the canvas. Now, there is also something new coming on where technology exists where you attach a specific item to the canvas, you scan it, it pulls up the NFT. That is not something that has proliferated like everywhere yet. So right now, what we're doing is when you sell the digital work, you can actually sell and send the physical work with it.
Okay, thank you so much. We have another question for you from YouTube. Do artists have to quote a flat rate for their art, or do people bid on their work for a period of time?
Both. You can decide to sell your work for X amount of tokens or dollars as you wish, and you can actually set up an auction. So similar to eBay, we're all familiar with eBay, right? Majority of marketplaces now have an auction feature. The FIMI NFT marketplace will also have an auction feature where you can start an auction and wait and watch people clamoring for your items.
Nice, nice. I see, Rory, you have a question. Could we have tech support unmute you? We'd love to have you ask your question live.
Sure. Miguel, can you briefly at a very high level explain what is needed to create an NFT?
What is needed? A computer. That's what you need, right? The majority of people, let's say you have the digital work. If you can send an email, you can mint an NFT. It is really that simple. You can go on a platform, you can upload that work, whether it be audio, video, a document, an image, etc. And once you click that mint button, it creates the NFT for you, because the actual processing, the power, etc., is not local. It has nothing to do with you. So the marketplace provides all the technology that you need to get that done. Once you have it on a digital file, that's it. Just upload it and you're done.
All right. Now, Sean, I see Sean Henry has a question. We'd love to invite you to the spotlight to ask your question as well.
Hello.
Hi, Sean.
Hey, Sean.
You hearing me?
Yes, we can hear you perfectly.
Okay. What I was asking is, do you sell the reproductive rights to your work when you sell the NFTs?
That is a fantastic question. So that has to do with, for example, the answer is it's your choice. The long answer is, make sure that the platform that you're using allows you to specify what rights you are handing over. That is very, very important for you. So you can decide that all I'm doing is I'm selling this item. And for example, let's use something contrived, you can only print it once, right? You cannot put it on a bus stop, but you can put it on a billboard in Times Square. You decide that because you are the one who owns that. So once you decide, you enter that in the information that you're placing on the marketplace, and boom, the person buys it. Those are the rights that that person has to abide by. You can also just decide, you know what? You get all rights.
Yeah, but how can you ensure? I mean, if you give somebody the rights to put it on a billboard in Times Square, I mean, what's to stop them then from putting it on T-shirts?
Well, that's the tricky thing. And some of the drawbacks of NFTs, another question people ask is, what's to stop them from just taking a picture of the screen, right? And doing whatever they want with it.
Right.
And the raw truth is nothing. Nothing is going to stop them from doing that. However, there are some instances where you can actually, prevent, well, not prevent, but what you do is you have a leg to stand on when you find that somebody is using it. Because if you are the person, for example, who owns this NFT, you own the site, and you open a magazine and you see that thing in the magazine and you know that you have all the rights to this, you can, let's say it's Vogue, you can call Vogue and say, listen, you either owe me some money or you burn all the magazines that you just printed.
Okay. Is that something that you would assist artists with in terms of the rights, the different platforms as to how they can sell the work, whether it would be exclusive, non-exclusive, etc.?
Well, we won't help you with any platform except the film NFT marketplace. So you are welcome to mint on us. However, we will help to guide you in deciding exactly what kind of license you want to put your work out as. We're going to provide some examples so that you understand some of the options that you have, so you don't go in blind. And as I mentioned before, we're going to have a team to help people who are new to the space, to help you get onboarded. So if you have questions, you email us. You let us know exactly what your questions are, etc. Because a big part of our thing, I forgot, Sean, a big part of our thing, Sean, is to make sure that we onboard as many people as we can. Because to make the space a better one, to make it more diverse, to make it more inclusive, it means bringing as many people as we can in.
Yeah, I get you. Just to provoke something then, and why you name it Fimi Marketplace? It almost
because
sounds...
of Fimi.
You own it. You own it. Thank you
But
so
you
much
know
for
what?
that.
It's feel too. So when you are talking about it and you say, I'm going to Fimi Marketplace,
I get
it's
you.
all yours too.
I
Well,
get you.
thank you guys so much. I mean, we have so many questions about NFTs, and you've explained a lot of it. It has been so clear. We want to take another question from our YouTube audience. Do NFTs fall under traditional copyright laws?
Quick answer is the cryptocurrency industry is not a regulated one, particularly in North America. That's the first very important part. However, ownership is ownership, right? So having said that, ownership is ownership. If it's yours and you can prove that it's yours, right? You can ensure that you manage and trace down whoever you need to trace down to ensure that your copyright is not infringed upon.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Miguel. I mean, the questions are coming in at you. You want to remind the friends where they can get more information on NFTs, on Fimi Market. You want to remind the friends where to find you, where to find your company, so they can also field these questions to you. And of course, remind them when they can experience Fimi Market in the space.
All right, so easiest way, since you have questions, please go to our website. It is fimi.market. That's it. Just type in fimi.market. You will see a few links on the top right. One of them will be for Twitter. Another thing that you'll see there is a link for our Discord. Join our Discord. When you join the Discord, you get immediate access to me, as long as I'm not sleeping or coding, right? So you ask away, right? Join our community, add us on Twitter, right? Our Twitter is Fimi_market, and just reach out. You can reach out to me. My Twitter handle is @MigAdwin, MIGADWIN. We host a Twitter Spaces every Wednesday at 8:30 p.m. EST. Join that, come in, ask any number of questions you want to ask, because guess what? We are here for you. Similar to what Kingston Creative was saying at the start of this entire session, this is about you. And a quick FYI about our Wednesday Spaces, it is not about us. like we do not shill the fact that we have a marketplace. We do not shill the fact that our token is in pre-sale, etc. We just accept questions from the audience and we give information, we educate, and we talk to the community. That's it.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Miguel. I'm sure the friends tonight were very, very, interested in what you had to say. And as someone mentioned earlier, this was a very simple explanation of what NFTs are. So we're looking forward to Fimi Market. We're looking forward to more information about this. We thank you so much for joining us tonight. And we will see you on your Twitter Spaces for next Wednesday.
Thank you so very much for having me.
All right. Thank you so much. Thank you guys for joining us tonight. I mean, it was such an eventful evening. We talked about Catapult 2. We talked about CreateTech, the different offerings and projects that you can be a part of. And of course, we also talked about Paint the City, Water Lane Phase 3. So many things to look forward to. I see Catherine right atop me here. Do you want to just join me for a close off, Catherine, so we could just give the people a quick roundup of the different things that they can be a part of, those who may have joined us a little bit late, just to give them an overview of the different things to look forward to for 2022.
Okay, so there is a lot happening for 2022. As you mentioned, Paint the City Phase 3. So for all our muralists and visual artists in the chat, that's just the third leg of Paint the City that will be covering all the different art forms that Jamaica has. There is CreateTech that has several programs under it. It was such a mouthful for Dimitri to even deliver. There's an Incubator, an Accelerator, there's B2b Meetings, there was Best Pitch Forward, which had just gone, and so much more. Khadija talked about Catapult too. That was a tongue twister there, which is a grant funding program for Caribbean creatives, offering $500 to 300 creatives across the region. So much to look out for, and you can learn more about this by joining us or reaching out to us, I should say, at info@kingstoncreative.org, or you can reach out to myself, Dimitri, or Khadija, which is just our name, Catherine Khadija Dimitri, at kingstoncreative.org, or you can shoot us a message on any of our social media platforms. Or finally, you can visit our website at kingstoncreative.org. And right, so we talked about all of those programs. We kind of had an open session where creatives told us what they needed, and we'll be going through that survey and just saving that chat to look at all the things that you guys brought up. And of course, we just had a lovely presentation from Miguel that really broke down NFTs in a way that we could understand. So tonight was so productive and so informative, and we're really thankful for all our creatives that turned out tonight. We really appreciate your feedback, and we really appreciate your support. Again, we do all of this for creatives, so we're happy to have you guys.
Thank you so much, Catherine, and the Kingston Creative team. It was an amazing evening. Thank you all for tuning in tonight to the Kingston Creative Meetup. And of course, we will see you for the next one. Enjoy the rest of your year, and we'll see you for 2022. Stay safe. Thank you so much.
Stay safe, everyone. Happy holidays.